Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop. In this video, we're going to be talking about the best cushioning setups in basketball shoes, right? So of course, cushion, I feel like is one of the more subjective, categories for a basketball shoe because everyone of course is different in what they want in a hoop shoe and how they play is also very different. So there's a lot of different opinions out there, which is fine, you know what I mean? And what I want in a cushioning setup is a little bit more responsiveness. I prioritize court feel, but also I really like good underfoot cushion as well. So yeah, of course, I tried to divide this video up into 3 categories, right? So we got the first tier, which of course this shoe is really good for like responsiveness. But of course, like cushion, you don't want like a brick, you know what I mean? You don't want something super stiff, which I don't think any of these shoes are. It's just like tier 1 is more just like responsive, right? You still get good underfoot cushion, but it's a responsive cushioning setup with really good court feel, right? For most of the tier 1 cushioning setups. Tier 2 is it's a really good all-around cushioning setup, you know what I mean? So it has really good core feel, good impact protection, underfoot cushion, and still pretty soft, but it's not super, or it's not as responsive as tier 1. And of course we have tier 3, which of course is this cushioning setup is crazy. And some of the cushioning setup on this list that is in tier 3, I don't really like all too much because it's just too soft and too much cushion for me. But I feel like there is a market for that, you know what I mean? There are definitely people that like a really soft cushioning setup, which of course is fine. So I also want to include that as well. So yeah, if you guys want to get any of these shoes, I try to leave the free link in the description box. And if you do choose to get any of these shoes, it does help me out if you buy it through the free links in the description box or the product pictures underneath this video. And as always, thank you guys so much for all the support. But let's get it started off with tier 3, right? So tier 3 is this cushioning setup is really soft and very nice, almost too soft even sometimes for me, you know what I mean? So there's not too many on this list, but of course, let's get it started off with the Jordan 39, right? So the Jordan 39, when I first got it, I was like, yo, this is super duper nice. But once I played in it and kept playing in it, it was just a little too soft for me. And I definitely wish either they wouldn't have used Zoom X foam or maybe add a little bit more PSI to the zoom unit. It's a bottom loaded full length zoom unit. So I don't know what it was, but it was just a little too soft and a little bit too like unstable. It's not unstable, it's just my foot was just digging into too much stuff and I didn't feel super responsive, and combining that with everything else in that shoe. Anyways, we're talking about cushion, so yeah, it's really soft. So if you're even looking for a casual shoe, the Jordan 39 is extremely comfortable, right? So you have amazing underfoot cushion, amazing stepping comfort because of the Zoom X, and also the full length zoom unit underneath your foot. So yeah, there is the Jordan 39. Next, we got the Kawhi 4. It's using full length fuel cell. It's kind of like tier 2 / tier 3. You know what I mean? It's definitely not too soft for me, but it is really soft. So if you want a responsive cushioning setup or like a stiffer cushioning setup, then the Kawhi 4 is not the greatest option. But again, for me, it was nice. You know what I mean? And it has good compression in the heel. The core feel, I would say, is okay. It's not the best. I would say it's around average for the core feel, but impact protection is amazing. And once you break that cushioning setup in, the underfoot cushion also gets extremely soft, which I like. So the Kawhi 4, very nice, right? All right, next we got the Fresh Foam BB V2. It's same thing. I'll put in like tier 2, tier 3. It is pretty dang responsive, but also very soft, especially for underfoot cushion. And also the court feel isn't the best, just like the Kawhi 4, right? So I would say like pretty much all the New Balance basketball shoes, right? So the Fresh Foam BB V2, the two-way V4, and also the Kawhi 4 is like tier 2 / tier 3. You know what I mean? Like it's soft, court feel isn't the best, but it's also like pretty responsive because it's not super soft compared to like the Jordan 39 and also the next shoe, which is GT Hustle 3, which we'll get into. But yeah, they have like pretty much maximum cushion while still having pretty good responsiveness. So it's like borderline tier 2, but I'm gonna move it towards tier 3 a little bit more, you know what I mean? And then of course we got next the GT Hustle 3, which is too much cushion. You know what I mean? Like that's just like the definition of too much cushion in my personal opinion. Is just, I don't know how anyone plays in that shoe. Like it's really fun though. Like when I was playing, I was like, yo, this is bouncy. It's very soft, you know? Like running down the court is extremely nice. It literally feels like a running shoe, you know? But when I want to get serious and I wanted something a little bit more responsive, like that is not the shoe that I would pick. You know what I mean? But again, I feel like, you know, if you like a really soft cushioning setup with a lot of compression, it does not have good core feel, but it's extremely soft. It has a lot of bounce. Then the GT Hustle 3 is a great option. So there's that. And then also I have some other shoes on this list that are like borderline tier 2 and tier 3, which of course is like the WoW 11, right? So the WoW 11 I would say is a little bit more responsive feeling than like, you know, the 2A V4 and the Kawaii 4, but it still has a lot of cushion, right? So it's using full length boom. It also has that a soft mesh strobe board, which is full length. So step and comfort is really nice. It's soft, but also bouncy, which I like. And impact protection is great. Core feel isn't the best though. I would say it's around average, especially comparing to the WoW 10, which had good core feel. The WoW 11 is a little bit thicker, you know? But still extremely nice because also, I guess it kind of ties into cushion is that like full length carbon fiber plate, which makes the overall shoe like springier. Also for heel to toe transition when you're running down the court out of the first step, it does feel very nice and springy. And same thing with the JB2. The JB2 I would say has a slightly better core feel, but it's still not the greatest for core feel, but it's a really bouncy cushioning setup. It's using full length boom, also has that full length carbon fiber plate, which makes the overall shoe very springy as well. Impact protection is great. I just love the bounciness of the foam, you know what I mean? So the JB2 is really nice. And last but not least, in like this tier 3, tier 2 is the Anti-Kai 1. Again, for me personally, I would say the Kai 1 is just a little bit more softer, like a little bit softer than, you know, the WoW 11 and the JB2, but it has a little bit better court feel. You know what I mean? So it's still not like, it's not mushy or like too soft feeling for me. I still feel pretty quick when I'm playing in the Kai 1. It's just like, of course, comparing to all the other shoes in like tier 1 and tier 2, it's just a little bit softer, right? You have a nice compression in the heel. The step and cover is really soft. The N2 foam is actually really thick in that, right? So impact protection is great, step and comfort is great and all that. You have great compression, but it's just, it's a little bit soft, you know, so just be careful with that. So there is pretty much like tier 3 and I guess borderline tier 2, tier 3, right? And now let's get on with a tier 2, right? So let's get it started off with the New Balance Hezi Low V2, which I've been playing and it has full length fuel cell and it's really nice. And it has good court feel in the forefoot, but then in the heel it does get a little bit thicker. But then I've been playing it and it's breaking in nicely and it's not as soft as when I first got it. So that's why I'm putting it in tier 2, right? But also has a nice little subtle bounce from the overall cushioning setup. And the underfoot cushion is still really nice. I would just say it's lower to the ground and thinner of a foam versus all the other New Balance hoop shoes. So that's why I'm putting in tier 2. So there's that. Next we got the All City 12 by way of weight. And I really love that cushioning setup, especially in the newer cushioning setups. So it has a soft mesh strobe board. It's using full length boom, and the soft mesh strobe board is extremely soft, you know what I mean? So you have a good amount of compression and bounce right underneath your foot. But also the core feel is really nice. It's still really nice in that. So I love how they blended everything together. It's a really nice all-around cushioning setup with good impact protection, underfoot cushion, bounce, you know. It still has pretty good compression from the actual midsole, even though it's cage, you know. So AC12 is a really nice cushioning setup. And same thing with the Way of Weight 808-4 Ultra. It's using a drop-in midsole and it's full-length boom, right? So core feel is really nice, but also your foot is digging into pretty much full-length boom. There's no strobe board, you know what I mean? Like, I guess like soft mesh strobe board is pretty much like there's no strobe board because it's still extremely soft, but with a drop in, your foot's right on top of that. You know what I mean? So yeah, it blends everything very well together. Impact protection, underfoot cushion, balance from the heel is nice. The only thing I don't like about it is that it's clunky in the heel because they're using a lot of plastic and rubber in the heel, so there's no compression. But other than that, it's a really nice cushioning setup. And of course, we got the J-Lin 5, which I think was like 110 to 120 bucks. The only thing I had an issue with was the traction on dust. But other than that, I had a really good time in that shoe, right? So even though it is cage, it still has good compression in the heel. And also you have a soft mesh strobe board. It's using X-Step Ace foam, which has nice compression. It's soft, but also a nice little subtle bounce. It's not as bouncy as Boom, however. But also another thing I love about that shoe is that it's using a full-length carbon fiber plate for only like 110, 120 bucks. So you also get that nice kind of springiness that you get. And the JB2 and the WoW 11 is using this like a full-length carbon fiber plate, but those are like $200 shoes, like $225 shoes. So the J-Lin 5, amazing cushioning setup, especially for the price. Next, we got the hardened volume 8. So it's like borderline, you know, tier 1, tier 2, but it's more tier 2, you know what I mean? So stepping comfort is really nice, you know what I mean? You have like a circle cutout in the heel, it's soft in the heel, but you still have really good court feel. And also I really like the addition of the foam in the heel versus like the plastic in the hardened volume 7. So you still have a little bit of compression. It's not as clunky in the heel as well. So the hardened volume 8 is still very, 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 very nice, right? Next, of course, we got the Nike LeBron 21. Also a really nice blend of everything. So great all-around cushioning setup. You got the Zoom turbo unit in the forefoot, which feels nice. It's bouncy. Court feel overall is pretty good. I would say it's slightly better than average. You have nice compression in the heel. Impact protection is great. So LeBron 21 is an amazing option. Next, in tier 2, we got the Zap 1. So the Zap 1 is a more responsive version of the Kai 1 for the cushioning setup, right? So it's pretty much the same exact setup, but a little bit thinner for the N2 foam and also better court feel, right? So you have a little bit more caging in the heel, but still nice compression in the heel. And also you have full length N2 foam and a soft mesh stroller, which is still really nice for underfoot cushion. And also impact protection is great. So it just does everything really well for the Zap 1 cushioning setup. And another thing that I love about that shoe is the price. It's only like 110 bucks, which is insane, right? And last but not least, we got the Jordan Tatum 2 with like a full-length Air Strobo unit. I don't like how caged it is in the heel, but other than that, the full-length Air Strobo unit, it's soft for underfoot cushion. It gets a little bit bouncy, of course not as bouncy as Zoom, but still it has a little bit of bounce. Impact protection is great, so it's a great all-around setup as well. And last but not least, we got tier 1, which is these are really responsive cushioning setups, really good core feel, but still have good or adequate impact protection and underfoot cushion, right? So let's start off with the Sabrina 2. The Sabrina 2 has one of the best court feels that you can get right now, but you have a forefoot zoom unit, which adds a little bit of bounce in the forefoot. The heel, also with the cushion on, you have nice compression in the heel. Impact protection is overall adequate, although it's not the best. So yeah, the Sabrina 2 is a great like responsive cushioning setup. Next, we got the AE1 and also the AE1 low. You know what I mean? So you have really good core feel in that shoe as well, but still adequate impact protection. Even on heel strikes, even on really hard impacts, I was good to go. Didn't really hurt my feet for some reason, which is kind of crazy. Step-in comfort also is pretty nice, you know? Although the foam is thinner, right? Because the core feel is still really good. It's giving us, Adidas is giving us like a softer mesh stroller board with like a heel cutout. So it's just an overall really nice responsive cushioning setup with still good impact protection, which surprised me, right? Next, of course, we got the Big 3 5.0 Quick Pro. So the Pro is using a full-length Quick CQ Tech foam, which is very similar to like Boom and N2 foam and stuff like that, Boost, you know? But yeah, the strobe board is on the stiffer side of things, but once you break it in, it does get a little bit softer and also a little bit bouncier, just a tiny bit, you know what I mean? And then court feel is great, but also impact protection is adequate for me in that shoe. So again, like that shoe is really nice for overall like responsive setup. And next, of course, we got the DVD 2 SE, which is kind of like borderline tier 1/tier 2, you know what I mean? Because it is still really soft for underfoot cushion. It is using a soft mesh strobe board, right? So maybe it is more tier 2, but it's still a responsive cushioning setup with good core feel. So it's kind of both, you know? But anyways, yeah, step-in comfort is still really nice. You still get a little bit of bounce from the Quick CQ Tech foam, and core feel is great. You also have a little bit of compression in the heel from the actual midsole because it is a little bit exposed there as well. So yeah, the DVD 2 SE, I really love how they improved the setup for the cushion versus the regular DVD 2, right? And next we got the Wade Flash, which is only $100 shoe. And I really love what they did with this cushioning setup because it's only $100 shoe. They don't give us really good cushion. It's not like Boom or anything. It still like has nice compression in the heel, but core feel is really good. And I love what they did with the soft mesh strobe board, right? Even though it's not the best foam ever, it's still pretty nice for step-in comfort because first of all, the shape is kind of like that massage kind of shape, you know what I mean? So kind of like you can definitely feel like the protruding parts of the cushion, but also it still has good step-in comfort, right? So I mean, obviously impact protection isn't going to be the best, you know what I mean? If you're doing really hard impacts, not the best, but it's adequate for me. I didn't really mind it at all. So the Wade Flash, still really nice. and responsive while still being good for stepping comfort and adequate for impact protection, right? And last but not least, we got, of course, Series Player Only. And Series Player Only has two shoes. We got the Ranger 1 and also the Player 1 Plus. The Player 1 Plus, of course, is going to be lower to the ground and more responsive, but I love what Series Player Only is doing with their drop-in midsoles. And literally on all of their models, I mean, I guess they have like 4 models now, but they also have another one coming out soon. And literally all their shoes are very good performance basketball shoes, but they all have interchangeable drop-in midsoles, and you can buy like extra drop-in midsoles if you want, which is absolutely amazing. No other shoe company does that. So that's why it's like tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Like you can do whatever you want, you know what I mean? But the Ranger 1, it has that EVA, and underneath the drop-in midsole, you have a very thin layer of EVA, which makes the court feel a little bit higher up off the ground than the Player 1 Plus, but still, you have a little bit more cushion in the Ranger 1, right? And also more compression from the actual EVA. But the Player 1 Plus, like I said, if you want to have a little bit more cushion, get the support. If you want a little bit more bounce, get the explosive midsole. And if you want a little bit more responsiveness, just stick with the regular drop-in midsole that it comes with, or the responsive, the quick system drop-in midsole, which is more obviously responsive, right? So yeah, I really love what they're doing with their cushioning setups there. But anyways, that about concludes this video for best cushioning setups. Again, I try to do my best to like explain to you guys what how each cushioning setup feels. And also pretty much all these shoes are extremely good performers. I try to only put really nice shoes on this list, like, you know, great support, great traction, all that, with, you know, good cushioning setups. But like I said, of course, cushion is subjective, so I try to separate it into tiers to better kind of like make it a little bit more clear for you guys to see what you guys want, you know? But anyways, if you guys do want to get any of these shoes, I try to leave the link in the description box. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.